Okay,
Okay.
There is a plot device used in some mystery fiction known as the Unreliable Narrator. In these cases, it transpires the person telling the tale may themselves be more involved than you were led to believe, and they may not have been telling you the whole story. Here at Highly Suspect HQ, we've taken this tried and tested concept of the Unreliable Narrator and made a stupid game out of it. Our murderer-in-chief will record himself telling a short murder mystery tale, which, like all of our mysteries, is 100% solvable with the information provided. This will be sent to one of our elite team of regular suspects, who is only allowed to watch it once. They will then record themselves trying to recount the same story to the best of their memory, before sending their version to another highly suspect individual, who will do the same. This chain will continue until everyone in the team has retold the tale, at which point we'll watch it back together and see if anyone has been able to solve the mystery told by a string of unreliable narrators. And even if they haven't, the result should be, well, highly suspect. Hello, amateur sleuths of the internet. Detective Inspector No Idea here to tell you all the tale of one of my most infamous investigations, the case of the Cryptic Crossword Killer. On the 17th of June 1996, I stepped into the offices of Elle Evandown, the crossword compiler for the Chronicle newspaper. She was dead. Murdered. The previous day's crossword pages balled up and shoved into her mouth. Beneath her, 3 answers had been completed for that day's puzzle, scrawled in blood-red block capital letters. Eat your words. Her heavily chewed-up ballpoint pen had fallen to the floor beside her desk. I began my investigations by talking to one of Elle's colleagues, a small mousy woman in her early 60s named Dot 2 Dot, who compiled the children's puzzles for the newspaper. Dot revealed that Elle had a fierce rivalry with a puzzle compiler from a different paper, Miss Sue Doku. Elle would hide offensive messages directed towards Sue in her crossword puzzles, and Sue had recently retaliated by revealing Elle's telephone number along the top line of her latest effort. Dot had offered to hide something suitably slanderous in her own latest Spot the Difference puzzle, but Elle declined, telling her a mere children's puzzler could never pull off something sufficiently cunning to operate at their high level. My next step, therefore, was to interview Sue Doku herself, who quickly admitted that she had considerable bad blood with Elle, who had stolen her Swedish boyfriend, Sven, across. She denied, however, being responsible for her death. Sven across explained that Elle had recently ditched him when she decided she needed to date someone with more brains than a below-average meatball. However, the day before her death, she'd come back to him, hoping he could protect her. She'd received a card in the post which read, "Don't open this," and inside, "Tomorrow offers death unto thou." A clear threat, but sadly the card hadn't been signed, so the identity of the sender was unknown. The pathology report revealed Elle had been dosed with the anaesthetic Paralyzothin, but the contents of her stomach were otherwise empty, so it was unknown how the anaesthetic had been ingested. The case had been a mystery the likes of which I'd never faced before. However, in a flash of inspiration, I finally figured it out. I knew who done it. Just like 19 across, easily perceived or understood, 8 letters. The answer was obvious.
Okay. Hello, dear sleuths of the internet. Inspector No Idea here, with one of my most famous cases, the case of the Cryptic Crossword Killer. Many years ago in I'm going to say 1996, on the 17th of June, a crossword compiler for the local news, some sort of pun name that I can't remember, was found dead in her office with 3 future crossword clues all scrambled up and balled up in her mouth. this was obviously very suspicious. So the first suspect was the compiler of a rival paper who did Sudoku, who was called Sudoku. They'd had a rivalry for years. Because of someone called Sven Across, who was a hunky Swedish chap that Sue was going out with and then dumped because he was dumb as two short planks. Anyway, Elle and Sue were having this like tete-a-tete with Sudoku and crosswords. Elle had put several nasty things as clues and solutions for hers, and then this is the wrong details, I'm sure. And then Sue had revealed Elle's phone number as one of the Sudoku answers. I don't know if that's relevant. Does Sudoku go up to that many numbers? Anyway. So, looking at the... Elle had received a letter that said, do not open on it, which he had then opened, and then inside there was another line saying, death shall come upon thou, or something, which didn't make a huge amount of sense, but clearly it did to Inspector No Idea, who I am. Because that allowed a flash of inspiration that solved the case.
Okay, welcome, super sleuths and magical murderers, to whatever this ends up being. Hope you're strapped in for the ride. I'm going to take you through one of Inspector No Idea's most famous cases, and it is the case of the Cryptic Crossword killer. Yeah. And this all happened way back when, on the 17th of June 1996. When the crossword compiler for the local newspaper, Elle, insert punny surname here, was found tragically murdered with, I believe, 3 balled up crossword clues shoved in her mouth, which is disgusting. Now, police were able to narrow down the suspects, one of whom was a lady who was called Sue Doku, and she worked for a rival newspaper, unsurprisingly, doing the Sudokus, and her and Elle had a rivalry going on for quite some time, because of a man called Sven Across. Sven down? Sven Across? One of them. It was punny. We'll go with Sven Across. And that was because Sue was having a merry way with him, but then she dumped him because he was stupid, which is mean. And oh no, there was more. Oh bollocks. Someone, Elle received a letter that said, do not open on the front, but she went and opened it anyway, and inside there was no. Sue received the letter that said do not open on the front, but she opened it anyway because YOLO, live your best life, gal. And on the inside, there was a note that said, "Death shall come upon thou," which I can't make head nor tail of, and Sue couldn't make head nor tail of, but apparently blew everything wide open for the police. I don't know. I'm not very bright. I don't get it, but yeah. Happy sleuthing. Good luck, Joe. Sorry.
All right. Okay. Hello, super sleuths, magical murderers. I have a fresh case. No, a famous case. A famous case from the great Inspector No Idea, which is the Cryptic Crossword Killer. Yeah, Cryptic Crossword Killer. Let me take you back when. Oh God. June 1996, possibly the 14th. Yeah, the 14th of June, 1996, where. Oh my God. L. Apparently it's L something. It was funny, according to Alice. So it's L, some funny surname. You can add that if you want, Paulie. L funny surname was found dead. And she had 3 crunched up crossword puzzles in her mouth, which isn't very nice. And Elle was she created crosswords at a local newspaper, and she apparently had a rivalry with Sudoku. It's a long rivalry. I don't even know why they had a rivalry. If Alice told me, I don't remember it. But they were rivals apparently, because she works for a different firm, so doing the Sudokus. And anyway, Sue loved Svenacross? Svenacross? Right? She liked Svenacross, apparently. They were falling in love. Maybe that's why they had the rivalry. Joe, don't make things up. Don't stop making things up. Anyway, so Sue received a letter. It was Sue, because I just thought it was Elle, but it wasn't. It's apparently Sue. Sue received a letter that said, "Do not open," and obviously she opened it. She's Sue. And inside... Inside, it said something very cryptic. I think I can't remember what it said. It was something death. There was a thou in it as well. Or was it? It's either death shall come to thou, or death shall come to thee. I think it's the second one. Death shall come to thee. And that apparently, that clue was all the police needed, and the whole case exploded open, and they knew how to solve it. But Sue was clueless, and I'm clueless, and yeah, that's where it ended, apparently. So good luck, I suppose. I'm sorry. Apologies, Paulie, and best of luck with that one. Oh, Christ.
Okay. Don't worry, Joe. I've got this. So, hello, super sleuthers and magical mystery people. here is another case from No Ideas. No idea. I don't know. I have no idea. No Ideas casebook called the Cryptic Crossword Killer, and it was all about a lady called L something or other. It was like a funny name. It was like a punny name. L something or other, and Sudoku. They worked for a company. They worked for a paper company. Yes, that's correct. If it's not, then that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they worked for a paper company, and they had a rivalry. And oh God, was there someone else? There must have been. Who was it? Was killed? Was it L? Oh dear. Oh, Lex. Right. Okay. Sorry, Lexi. Someone was killed. I'm sure of that because it's a murder. Oh God, this is incredibly hard. So someone was killed. I think it was L, because it usually, like in these sort of things, it's usually the first person. So I'm gonna go with that. L was killed. And there was Sudoku, and they had rivalry. And then, oh God, I just made chili and I touched my eye as well. That was a stupid thing to do right before this. I should have washed my hands. Never mind. I'm digressing here because I've completely forgotten everything. So there was a note that was found that said something about thou shalt not kill. No, it wasn't the Bible. It was something found around the crime. I don't know how she was killed. Oh no, she was found with something in her mouth. She was found with like crossword pieces in her mouth, or Scrabble pieces, or like letters. I'm sure she was found with letters in her mouth. It must have been a crossword. It must have been like a letter. A letter with this cryptic piece on it in her mouth. And oh God, I'm sure there was someone else. There was someone else. Oh God, it was really punny. 10 something. Oh God, my brain. Anyway, that was all that the police needed to go on this crossword puzzle with these thou shalt not kill on it. It probably wasn't thou shalt not kill. And that solved the whole case. I'm really sure there's another person like Zen something. Because he wouldn't just have 2 people in it. It's a murder mystery, for God's sake. That would be like one person's dead and the other person's not. So it must be them. But it's clearly not that. There's another suspect that I've completely missed because I was watching the video and I found how Joe delivered it very amusing and wasn't actually listening to what he said. So I'm clearly not cut out for something like this. But there you go, Lex. I apologise for everything.
Well, that's a lot to go off. Okay, so welcome, super sleuths and magical mystery people, to another case from Inspector Detective No Ideas Casebook. And today we are solving the case of the Cryptic Crossword Killer. And this involves the murder victim, L something punny. I'm going to go with like L longitude, like longitude and latitude of the crossword puzzles. That's all I can come up with. And Sudoku, and possibly a third person of interest who might be called Ten or Zen. And all I can think of is like Tenzing Peak, but that's got nothing to do with literary, so I'm really not sure. But anyway, they're around somewhere. And Elle died under mysterious circumstances. Oh, and there was a rivalry between her and Sue, and they worked for a paper company, or rival paper companies, one of the two, not 100% sure. And then Elle was found out, and then Paulie put chili on his fingers and then touched his eye, which seemed to cause a great amount of pain. I'm sorry about that. So, Elle was found dead with either crossword puzzles or Scrabble letters or some scrunched up paper in her mouth. And it might have said "Thou shalt not kill" on it, or it might have said something completely otherwise. Something which I'm sure was a vital clue to solving this mystery, which otherwise I'm going to struggle with. And apparently that was enough for the police to solve the entire thing. So, Elle's dead, works at a paper company, rivals Sue with a mysterious third person called Ten. Paulie's got chili fingers on his eyes, and the cryptic letters in her mouth apparently reveal the whole thing. Yeah, I haven't a clue. I hope someone else knows what's going on. There you go, Vay.
Right, greetings, fellow murderers. Welcome to the first Unreliable Narrator watch-along.
Hey!
Hey.
I can't see how much... I can't wait to hear this story, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure I got very scant facts on it.
Yeah, I want to hear the
can't wait
start.
to rehear the accurate one and then find out how much I butchered it.
You're all so simple. You're assuming that the important details didn't make it to the end.
I'm
fairly confident the important details
Why I would struggle to, solve it with the clues I got. No offense, person who gave you.
No, it's fine.
Right then. So, without further ado, I think we should probably go in order, and we should see if people have been able to solve it. Let's hear your theories as you received the mystery from an unreliable narrator. So, Seb, you got the original full story, so you therefore technically have the best chance.
You say that like there's actually a chance, but
You're our only hope, Seb. You're our only hope.
Help me, Seb Coombe. You're my only hope.
In as long or as short a Columbo-type speech as you wish, who do you think did it, and why? What was the clue that gave them away?
Well, I find that I've written down on my phone, because I can't remember, that I think it wasn't Sven, because I am a sucker for a rippling Randy Scandy. The only other person that I could remember was Sue, and I think she did it because of her picious things. I don't trust Sue's picious things at all.
Excellent.
So that's my answer.
Excellent. You couldn't see because you were reading, but my favourite thing was looking at certain people's faces going, I've never heard of half of these people.
Sven was
Sven got to
definitely a
me.
character.
Sven got to me.
Excellent.
Oh no, it's going to be Sven.
We'll not spoil how far certain things get yet.
Okay.
So from Seb, it went to Alice.
Yes.
So Alice, who do you think did it, and what was the clue that gave them away?
Oh, I didn't write down a punny theory, so this is going to be really disappointing. I can't really follow that. But I thought that it was Sven across. I went with Sven across. It sounded right. Because it's never the ones that are sending the threats. But I thought he probably sent the threat because we said he was stupid, and death will come upon now. Didn't make any sense, and there was some rivalry to do with having their filthy way with Sven, so I reckon he did it.
Yeah. Excellent. It's a brilliant theory.
I'm already loving what I'm hearing, by the way. I'm glad that I can't wait to hear the rest of his tale.
So we've got a vote for Sue and a vote for Sven. Joe, it then came to you.
Quite. Luckily, really, I'm on the same page as Alex. I think Sven across, definitely. And I think it's something to do with love. I think it's something to do.
What's love got to do with it?
It's because I think Sue and Elle, who supposedly died, right? Elle died. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. I don't know.
She did it in the end.
Well, I think they both had a thing for Sven, and I think Sue was mad. Sue was angry about that, and because she wanted Sven all to herself. That's what I think.
It's a lovely theory. So then, the chain of evidence passed to Paulie.
Well, you see, I don't know whether to comment on the fact that they've all mentioned someone that I completely forgot. So I I only had 2 people in my story.
Who could have done
The
it?
person who was killed, supposedly, and the person who wasn't killed. So I can only think that Sudoku, there she goes. She was the killer because she didn't like words, and that's why she stuffed. She liked numbers. She didn't like words. That's why there was stuffed things in her mouth. There you go.
That's a cracking theory. So then finally, ending the chain, Lexi.
Yeah, I have to go with Sue as well because she was the only one alive by the end of the story. I had dead and alive, so by that theory, Sue done it. Hey, Sue done it.
Sue done it.
She did.
Yeah,
She definitely
excellent.
did.
I have no plausible reason to back that up.
So we've got 2 votes for Sven and 3 votes for Sue. So the highly suspect team as a whole are deciding that it is Sue what done it. So I think it's probably time that we watch back the initial story and see where this goes.
Oh yeah.
Can I say before we start, I'm pretty sure the person who done it is going to be a character that got lost on the first one that I didn't remember, and that was it.
So hopefully technology will work here. If I go share, can you see me?
There you are.
There he is.
Concerned. Let me know if you can give me a wave or anything if volume is an issue. Otherwise, we'll play it through. Feel free to comment during this. I'll pause it if you're going to miss anything important. But otherwise, here is the initial story. Enjoy. Hello, amateur sleuths of the internet. Detective Inspector No Idea here to tell you all the tale of one of my most infamous investigations. The case of the Cryptic Crossword Killer. On the 17th of June 1996, I stepped into the offices of L. Evandown, the crossword compiler for the Chronicle newspaper. She was dead, murdered. The previous day's crossword pages balled up and shoved into her mouth. Beneath her, 3 answers had been completed for that day's puzzle, scrawled in blood-red block capital letters. Eat your words.
Oh, this is new.
Her heavily chewed-up ballpoint pen had fallen to the floor beside her desk. I began my investigations by talking to one of L's colleagues, a small mousy woman in her early 60s named Dot, 2 Dot.
Oh, who?
Who?
Sorry.
What?
Fierce rivalry with a puzzle compiler from a different paper, Miss Sudoku.
Hey.
L would hide offensive messages directed
There she
towards
is.
her in her crossword puzzles, and Sue had recently retaliated by revealing L's telephone number along the top line of her latest effort. Dot had offered to hide something suitably slanderous in her own latest Spot the Difference puzzle, but L declined.
How long is
telling her
this?
A children's puzzler could never pull off something sufficiently cunning
2.5 minutes,
to operate
shorter
at
than
their
yours.
high level. My next step, therefore, was to interview Sudoku herself,
What?
who quickly admitted that she had considerable
What? Where did that come from?
who'd stolen her Swedish boyfriend, Sven.
Oh, hey,
Cross,
Yeah.
Oh.
however, being
There we are.
responsible for her death. Sven Cross explained that Elle had recently ditched him when she decided she needed to date someone with more brains than a below-average meatball. However, the day before her death,
meatball.
she'd come back to him, hoping he could protect her. She'd received a card in the post which read, "Don't open this," and inside, "Tomorrow offers death unto thou."
What?
A clear threat. But sadly, the card hadn't been signed, so the identity of the sender was unknown. The pathology report revealed Elle had been dosed with the anaesthetic paralyzer therapy,
What?
but the contents
Oh,
of the
yeah.
stomach were otherwise empty, so it was unknown how the anaesthetic had been ingested. The case had been a mystery
This
the
makes
likes
a
of
lot
which
more
I'd never
sense.
faced before. However,
Is
in a
it?
flash of inspiration, I finally figured it out. I knew who done it.
Oh, crud.
Just like 19 across, easily perceived or understood, 8 letters. The answer was obvious.
That's smug. Wow, there was a
Yeah.
lot more to that story.
Oh, God.
then.
Yeah, there was a lot more. A lot more.
There really was. And I can only
I don't-
apologise for how
don't-
much made it through.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think if any of us had gone first, there is no way we could all have watched that
Yeah.
and actually remembered it all. Doesn't
No.
matter what day, even if we're taking mind remembering drugs, that's not going to happen.
I mean, I'm surprised. There's actually a story to it.
Yeah, there's actually a story.
yeah.
There is a story that can be solved.
Oh, crud.
Is this what people feel like when they see these mysteries?
It
Is
must
this like,
I think
is it
that's
this
our
level of?
experience.
No wonder that they say so. Like I'm always there, and I'm like, oh, why did you write that down, you idiot? That's wrong. And then now, actually, like,
Now
and
we
being
are
like,
the idiots.
I'm like, oh God, how am I supposed to remember all this information?
Out of interest, anyone got more of an idea having heard the whole story?
Well, we've got a whole new character for starters
Yeah.
to discuss.
It was nice to meet Dot.
Yeah.
nice to meet Dot.
Well, actually, hold your theories, because let's see what happens to Dot and where she
Disappears.
Dot is just gone.
Sven's gone back to Sweden by the end of it.
As we continue, with this one. So, next it moves on to Seb. Here we go.
Hello, dear sleuths of the internet. Inspector Noah Deer here, with one of my
You're
most
rocking a lot,
famous
Sam.
cases.
I was
The
nervous.
case of the Cryptic Crossword Killer.
So, all right so far.
Solved this.
Many years ago.
I'm looking at
in
your eyebrows.
I'm going to say 96. 1996 on the 17th of June.
Yes.
Well
Also
done.
correct. And there it all goes.
We just saw it leave.
The local news. Some sort of pun name that I can't remember. Dead in her office with 3 crossword clues all scrambled up and brought up.
He's not wrong.
This was obviously very suspicious. So the first suspect was the compiler of a rival paper who did Sudoku, who was called Sudoku.
Well remembered.
And they had a rivalry for years. Because of someone called Sven across.
Hey!
Hey!
Sven made it to the story too.
Sue was going out with and then dumped because he was dumb as 2 short planks.
Meatballs!
Elle and Sue were having this like tete-a-tete with Sudoku and crosswords. Put several nasty things as clues and solutions for hers, and then. Oh, this is the wrong details, I'm sure.
Yep.
Own it, Seb.
Phone number as one of the Sudoku.
It is details, though. This is all accurate.
Answers.
Yeah.
Does Sudoku go up to that many numbers? Anyway.
Where those details went.
It goes up to 9, Sam.
So, looking at the. And so Elle had received a letter that said, "Do not open on it," which he had then opened, and then inside there was another line saying, "Death shall come upon thou."
Very
or something,
Shakespeare
which
with
makes
your
you
hand out like
but
this.
Clearly, it did to
Close.
Inspector Noah Deer, who I am. Because that allowed to solve the case.
How you end it?
Strong exit.
So, I have to say,
Amazing.
excellent effort.
Well done.
Yeah, well,
Thank you.
that's very good.
boy.
Other than losing a suspect,
Dot's gone.
and the details of what was found out to have killed them,
Yeah,
all of it was there.
Oh yeah, the graph is gone already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question, Mike.
Yeah.
Could you solve it from what Seb had said?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
Oh no.
Interesting.
What I will say that worries me slightly about that is that if you had put a few more wahs in, I would have sounded like Boris Johnson. It's the same cadence. Well, the thing did this, and there was a tete-a-tete with.
I'm going to say like hand gestures. And
I
that.
love the
very
hand.
good.
I was like this one. Like
Yeah.
very power of Grayskull.
Well, I think we can all agree. Excellent effort there from
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you very
a,
much.
a lot made it through. Let's
And then.
Yeah, I didn't get that. That's
No.
not. Oh god.
There is more to lose to this case, certainly.
Many apologies, Joseph, for what you did receive.
Let's see where it goes from here.
Can't wait to see all these. I'm so excited.
Okay. Welcome, super sleuths and magical murderers. To
Yay!
whatever this ends up being.
Such faith in the system.
Strapped in for the ride. I'm going to take you through one of Inspector Noadia's most famous cases, and it is the case of
Do you have
the
an accent?
Cryptic Crossword
No,
killer.
it's her voice.
Ah,
It's just how I sound, Lexi.
And this all happened
sound
way
very
back
northern.
in the way back when, on the 17th of June, 1990.
It was me.
I'm not relevant in the slightest.
The newspaper
Can we
L,
make it any louder?
insert funny surname here, was found tragically murdered with, I believe, 3 rolled up crossword clues shoved in her mouth, which is disgusting.
Just adding that in.
Hygiene.
Was a lady who
They were not sanitized.
Doku, and she worked for a rival newspaper, unsurprisingly, doing the Sudokus. And her and Elle had probably been on for quite some time. A man called
Oh dear.
Oh.
Sven
Yes.
Cross.
Hey!
Fine.
No, wait.
Oh.
One of them. It's funny. Cross. And it's because Sue, I think Sue was having a merry way with him, but then she dumped him because he was stupid. Which,
Oh. The entire linguistical metaphor is now gone. Meatballs, short plank, just he was an idiot.
No. Oh no.
There's more.
So someone, Elle received a letter that said, "Do not open."
Yeah, still there.
On the front. And opened it anyway.
So really, it's all her fault.
Shouldn't have opened that letter.
No, had it all come into her.
Sue received the letter.
Oh, what?
Oh.
Sue received the letter.
Oh dear.
That said, but she opened it anyway. That's the life gal. And on the inside, there was a note that said,
like Pinter.
"Death shall come upon thou," which I can't make it. But apparently blew everything.
Wow.
You've slowly given up at this point. It's not.
Started so optimistically.
Happy sleuthing. Sorry.
The worst thing about that is I could totally see all the things I missed. That's like all the things that I got wrong from that. It's
You missed stuff from that?
Yeah,
I no, I didn't miss things. I just got things wrong. I just got like I think I was the one who lost the date.
So who got the letter? Sue or Elle?
Sue now got the letter.
Yeah, it was correct the first time round, then you corrected yourself to go. I mean, what I quite enjoyed was that there was a whole process that Alice had there of watching as Maud just left. With the moment, everything went, maybe not.
And it started to slow down as well. It's almost like she was just like falling into oblivion.
It became very Pinter. If Pinter did murder mysteries, that's it.
I also enjoyed there was a lot of live Alice reaction to the events, which was mean.
I think Alice was running out of memory and just winding down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
try and buy myself more thinking time. if I just insert bits here. Think about
Did it help?
Did it look like it helped?
so another tremendous effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But we've now lost a suspect, and the wrong person has received the threat. So let's now see where it goes from there. As it moves on to Joe.
Does Joe have a different energy to Alice, I sense?
Yes. Let's see.
All right. Okay. Hello,
I'm so sorry.
street sleuths, magical murderers. I have a fresh
You
case.
remembered that?
No, a famous case.
Yeah, that's what matters,
from the
Joe.
great Inspector No Idea,
Remember the case is pretty not famous.
which is the Cryptic Crossword Killer.
Yeah.
Cryptic Crossword Killer. Let me take you back.
It's so good. I lost
Many
it when those
years
lost
ago.
Back in my
June.
day.
June 1996,
It's still there.
possibly the 14th.
No.
14th of June, 1996.
That changes everything.
Where? Oh, damn. Oh my god.
The date and nothing.
L. I got it. It was funny, according to Alice. So to L, some funny surname. You can add that if you want, Paulie. L was found dead. And she had 3 crunched up crossword puzzles in her mouth,
Still there.
which isn't very nice.
We're all just
And Elle
commentating.
was she created crosswords at a local newspaper, and she apparently had a rivalry with Sudoku.
Hey.
It's a long rivalry. I don't even know why they had a rivalry.
Well, then.
I just don't I don't remember it. But they were rivals, apparently, because she works for a different firm, so the Sudokus.
Oh yeah, the old firm.
Well, Sue loved Sven
Hey,
Across.
Sven made it to this one.
Yay.
Sven Across.
Oh God.
Go with Sven across.
She likes Sven Across, apparently. They
Joe pronounces it like
maybe
Senecott.
that's why. Maybe that's why they had the rivalry. No, Joe, don't make things up. Anyway, so Sue
Joe starts crafting his own mystery.
received a letter. It was Sue.
Joe's trying to
Alice
solve it while
told
doing
it. But it wasn't. It's apparently Sue. Sue received a letter that said, "Do not open," and obviously she opened it.
Obviously.
She's Sue.
Oh, Sue.
Typical Sue.
That's what Sue's do.
Inside.
My God, this is going to go on for an hour.
It said something very cryptic.
Something very cryptic.
Something black.
Oh,
There was a
brilliant.
vowel in it as well. Oh, is it? It's either or death shall come to thee.
Brilliant.
I think it's the second one. Or death shall come to thee.
Nope.
And that apparently, that clue was all the police needed in the whole case.
Yeah, the paralysis was
Exploded
not,
open
not
and then you
relevant
have
at
to
all.
solve it. But, Sue was clueless and I'm clueless.
Oh, the inspector's gone down in my estimation
Yeah.
now.
He started really suave and
Mm.
he's gotten his way down to just bumbling.
Oh, I'm clueless.
I suppose. I'm sorry. Paulie, and best of luck with that one. But like, the thing is, I didn't get from that we were meant to be Inspector No Idea.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
Like,
he's-
I
yeah.
thought it was just, I've got this is me telling you a story of a case solved by Inspector No Idea. I didn't realise we had to be Inspector No Idea.
Yep. Yeah, that got lost somewhere.
Yeah.
That was me. I didn't do Inspector.
Channel your best inspector.
See, when I started watching it, the first bit, I was like, has Joe started yet? Is he talking to me? Or is this... I was completely confused. I was like, we're not... Usually make this Inspector No Idea. So for the first 10 seconds, I was confused as to whether I was looking at Joe or Joe being you. And then after that, I just couldn't stop laughing. So I was missing bits. I was missing because I was laughing so much.
Yeah. I mean, there's still quite a few facts made it through.
Yeah,
Still
you know,
things.
like
The letter made it through.
Just slowly. Just slow facts. It just took some time for the gears to turn.
Yeah.
You passed
mystery.
on that torch perfectly.
Well.
This wonderfully crafted mystery is just dying a really slow, painful death.
Yeah.
And we're really sorry about it, Mike.
So, do you reckon at this point it's still solvable?
No.
No.
But
I mean,
I'll do an ask at the end as to where you think it stopped being solvable.
I'd have to listen to the first one again to work out exactly where it might or might not have gone. But we'll see.
Anyway, we'll now
I
move
think
on.
it's still solvable.
Yes, we.
So we'll now move on to Paulie.
Oh.
I'm excited for this.
Let's
I'm
see.
so hyped.
Oh,
Yes, Polly.
Okay. Don't worry, Joe. I've got this.
Such confidence.
famous last words.
Magical mystery people.
Hey!
Here is another case from
Imbued with character, Paulie.
No idea. I don't know. I have no idea. No Idea's casebook called Cryptic Crossword Killer.
Yeah, the title's good.
All about
The only thing that's made it all the way through in one
He's
piece.
called L something or other. It was like a funny name. It was like a punny name. L something or other. And Sudoku. They worked for a company. They worked
Now
for
they work together.
a paper company. Yes, that's
Under Mifflin.
See, I thought it meant like
If it's not,
office,
then
you know, like
that's
an
what I'm
actual
saying. Yeah, they
paper
work for a
production
paper
company,
company.
not a newspaper
And
company.
they had a
but it's called-
rivalry. And God, was there someone else? Who was it was killed?
So over 30 seconds in, who was it that was killed?
Lex. Right, okay, sorry, Lexi. Someone was killed. I'm sure of that because it's a murder. Oh God, this is incredible.
What a detective! Someone was killed, therefore it's a murder.
It was L. Is it usually like in these sort of things? It's usually the first person. So I'm gonna go with that. L was killed.
Oh, dear.
That's
And there
deductive
was
reasoning.
Sudoku. And you had rivalry. I just made chilly and I touched my eyes. Well, that was sure, never mind. I'm digressing.
Really digressing!
So there was a note that was found that said something about thou. It wasn't the Bible. It was something around the crime. I don't know how she was killed. I don't know. There was something in her mouth. She was found with. She was found with like crossword pieces in her mouth, or Scrabble pieces.
Scrabble pieces.
Letters in her mouth. It must have been a crossword. It must have been like a letter with this cryptic piece on it.
So now the letter's stuffed in her
in her
mouth.
mouth. And oh God, I'm sure there was someone else.
Oh dear.
There was someone else. Oh God, it was really funny.
What's their motive? What's their motive for fighting?
I don't know. Oh dear.
For suspense.
Anyway,
So painful.
Okay.
that was all that the police needed to go
Was
for
it?
this. Thou shalt not kill on it. It probably wasn't thou shalt not kill. And that solved the whole case.
Yeah.
I'm really sure there's another person like Zen something. Because you wouldn't just have two people in it. Murder mystery.
You're right. You're actually right.
It must be them, but it's clearly not that. There's another suspect that I've completely missed. I was watching the video and I found how Joe delivered it very amusing and wasn't listening to what he said. So clearly,
I was putting head of the bus there as well.
there you go, Lex. I apologise for everything.
And that was 4.5 minutes, was that?
4.5 minutes.
Jesus.
That was
So,
that was really
before we go,
funny.
do we think it's still solvable?
No.
No.
I'm down to a
Yes,
killer.
definitely. Just not if you listen to me or Joe or Alex.
You got the thou back in. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
now really.
I said thee and got it wrong, and you brought back thou. So
It seems more plausible now that I've heard some of them that they worked for like a newspaper company. Because when you kept going on about paper company, I thought you meant like Dunder Mifflin from The Office.
Yeah.
Paper.
I guess I was trying to make sense of what I'd heard and remembered and what I didn't hear because I was laughing too much.
I mean, to be fair, there was still a few facts in it. There was still a threat, although it ended up in her mouth rather than...
Yeah. I also feel that, like,
right person.
not having more than two people in there would be a bit of a difficult situation in a murder mystery.
Or a very easy situation.
Well, yeah, but there'd be no mystery to it, would there, Sam?
Well, it might have been suicide. Everyone always says suicide.
Oh, God.
It's
No.
never suicide. Are you listening, audience? It's never suicide.
Never.
If you ever come to one of our murder mysteries, it is never suicide.
no.
So the person who did it was themselves. Good night. Right.
What a waste of a shit.
Gravel pieces absolutely killed me, though. That was so funny.
I just didn't know what I was saying. I told you. It was utter rubbish coming out my mouth.
Because
how did you feel watching that back going, oh,
Me?
Scrabble?
How did I feel? I felt like I was a 3-year-old idiot. Like, it was just who some lovely people had asked me just to do something like quite cool, and I just ruined it. That's how I felt afterwards. I was like, I just felt so bad. I can't redo it. Can't rewatch Joe's.
But what's interesting is the essence of it is obviously there, because Scrabble pieces, although that was never mentioned, it sort of makes sense with crosswords, words, the pieces in the mouth. So
thematically,
yeah. Thank you, mate, just for making me feel a little bit better about that utter nonsense that I just revelled.
So
people know what we can.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was handed on to Lex. Let's see what she did with it.
Made it a lot shorter for one thing. I think it was like 2 minutes, 2.5, 2:20.
Well, that's a lot to go off. Okay, so
All right then.
mystery people to another
The handle
case.
made it.
No, to another case from Inspector Detective No Ideas Casebook. And today we are solving the case of
Lexi's brought back acting.
Just bring
the
piece
piece
back. Yeah.
The murder victim, L something punny. I'm going to go with it like L longitude. L longitude. Longitude and latitude.
Longitude is definitely a pun.
L longitude.
Person of interest who might be called Ten or Zen. And all I can think of is like Tenzing Peak. But that's not really
What?
So L longitude and Tenzing Peak.
Just trying to fill in some gaps.
L died under mysterious circumstances. Oh, and there was a rivalry between her and Sue, and they worked for a paper company, or rival paper companies, one of the two, not 100% sure. And
Put the rival back in. Well done, Lex.
And then Paulie put chili on his fingers and then touched his eye.
Integral to the plot.
Why would you mention that?
Or Scrabble letters or some scrunched up paper in her mouth. And it might have said thou shalt not kill on it, or it might have said something completely otherwise. Something which I'm sure was a vital clue to solving this mystery.
Correct.
And apparently that was enough for the police to solve the entire thing. So, Elle's dead, works at a paper company, rivals Sue with a mysterious third person called Ten. Paulie's got chili fingers on his eyes.
Oh, it's summer.
And the cryptic letters in her mouth apparently reveal the whole thing. Yeah, I haven't a clue. I hope someone else knows what's going on. Maybe.
So,
the sum up doesn't make it look as hard, does it? When actually was like, these are all the things you needed to remember. But yeah, easy.
I tried to fill in some of the gaps, like Tenzing Peak is a name, and
well, I was going to say Tenzing Peak is named after Tenzing Norgay, who climbed Everest.
Oh, who's Tenzing Peak then?
no, it's
Tenzing Peak is the name of a peak,
Yeah,
which is then named after Tenzing
Oh, I
Norgay.
thought that was a person.
No.
Well,
Well, we're not here to learn
the
about historical facts. We're here to learn about murder, damn it.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that like the names that you gave all the people were just bizarre and they had no relation to each other. It was just delicious.
Longitude and
I am quite
You
pleased.
actually said L longitude.
yeah, that's not a pun.
That's like just
The reason
L
I
and
don't
then
write
adding
these
something
mysteries
else
for
to
us in the first place or assist. I normally give Michael the terrible ideas so then he can erase them quickly and they'll spark into something cleverer. And I stand by that as my role in this company.
I'm amazed though that me forgetting the punny name of L has actually made it through.
Yeah,
That it's just the
that's
L
fine.
mysterious name.
What was it?
L Evan.
L Evan down.
Evan down. It was a nice crossword.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going along longitude.
No.
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 I think you did really well, Lex, because you actually summed it up better than probably any of us did at the end so that people can see something concise about each video.
I mean, the fact that you summed up at the end, albeit with some made-up names, were still accurate.
Yep.
Not a bad little thing. Like that sum up would have been really helpful if you were anywhere else on the line of people. Obviously, being at the end, it doesn't have the same effect.
I was trying to pad the time slightly because I didn't think I'd taken very long at all as well.
There wasn't much specific information left in that, but generally, there was a lot of stuff.
The essence of the story made it through all of the unreliable narrators. So,
No way.
in a way, ish. All the suspects didn't, and the cause of death didn't, and details. It's not as though the devil's in the detail or anything like that. Audience out there, you've now heard our suspects tell the version of the tale. So now we are going to throw it open to you at home.
Good luck.
Can you figure out who killed L something or other?
L funny name.
L Evan down. You've heard all the details. You've heard all the recounted stories. Who do you think did it? Comment below and we'll reveal it in, I don't know when this is going out, but a few days after this has gone out, we will reveal the answer. But in the meantime, I want to go around all of the suspects and just hear the point at which you think it became unsolvable and whether you've changed your answer, having heard it all, from your original answer. So, Seb, at what point in the chain do you think it became unsolvable, and do you want to change your answer from Sue?
I'm going to stay with Sue, because she is vicious, and I don't like Sue's vicious things. I think it became unsolvable after I said, as in, like, I think I missed out the relevant detail.
So
I genuinely
it became
think
unsolvable immediately.
Yeah. I think, because I'm not big on detail, as you all know, and I think there was a detail. There was a detail that just went, and after that detail had gone, no. But
okay,
we'll see.
Alice, you said Sven last time. Would you like to change your answer?
No, I'm going to stand by Sven. I have a feeling it's probably Dot, who I never met, but I'm going to stand by Sven. Yeah, we'll stick with Sven.
And what point do you think it became unsolvable?
Probably almost. I would probably say either me or Seb.
So,
I
Seb,
feel like we dropped a lot of important balls.
Especially if it turns out Dot did it, then yeah, I definitely got rid of that important piece of information.
right.
Yeah, I feel like between me and you, we dropped a
Yeah.
lot of
Dropped
the
all the Swedish meatballs.
the Swedish meatballs. We dropped who got the letter. We dropped a whole
Yeah.
suspect.
Okay.
But certainly by the time we got to Paulie, it was gone.
Yeah, completely.
Right. Okay. Joe, you said Sven. Are you sticking with that answer, or are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was Sven. The random, Swedish guy who's just there gets dumped. I think there's something there. But I think it's some. I don't know. I think I want to say immediately because only because I think Seb got literally nearly everything. But I bet it's like something to do with like. Because there was like something written in blood, wasn't there? Like next
Blood
to a
red,
body.
red ink.
It was like I can't remember what it said.
Eat your words.
Eat your words, written in blood red block capitals.
Yeah, I just think there's something. I don't know. I think there's something about that which is, sadly, I think. Obviously, I think that's gone. But I'm going to stick with Sven because I don't know. He appeared. For me, he appeared at a point in the tale that I think the killer would appear. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So when you're watching these shows and it's like they get the first suspect and you're like, oh, it might be them. But then you're like, it's not going to be them because they're the first one. But then you get introduced to their boyfriend and you're like, oh, he's shady. It's definitely him.
Yeah, but that only works. That only works if Sven is the most famous person in this story, and you recognize.
Yeah, who's playing? Yeah, I need to know who's playing Sven in the live action.
I like to think it's Paul Bettany. I think it's Paul Bettany.
Yes, he would be a good Sven.
So Sven, and it was lost at Seb, you reckon?
Yeah.
It was lost at me.
Okay, Paulie, you said it was Sue. Are you sticking with Sue?
I think I will.
Okay.
But because, well, first of all, I think the opposite of Joe. I think maybe everyone's going to think it's the Sven guy, and then forget about Sudoku with our crossword puzzles and our Scrabble, and
we forgot about Dot.
and yeah, but who dots to dots, they're not very cerebral, are they? So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Sue because
screw all you kids doing those dot to dots.
Yeah.
How dare you learn hand-eye coordination?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to learn from dot to dots? Numbers.
Yep.
Okay, so you're sticking with Sue. Where do you think it became unsolvable?
Well, you see, I'd like to say Seb, but I think that would just be throwing him under the bus. And from watching all of them, I think that he did the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
So I definitely clap you. But I would probably say that, again, with what Joe and Alice sort of said, that there would probably be like tiny nuances that would be missed at the start. So I would say that probably Seb, if not Seb, definitely Alice. Not like definitely Alice, like she did a bad job.
Just being thrown under the bus.
But you did. It's okay. You can say it.
Yeah.
No, I did a bad job.
Safe
so
space.
It's fine.
Okay.
And
finally,
I feel so attacked.
Finally, Lex.
Okay, I'm changing my answer. I think it was Dot.
You're changing your answer to Dot.
Yeah, someone thinks it was Dot. Dot's
Because
suspicious.
I think it's got something to do with the throwaway-ish line about her having her phone number in the crossword clue.
In the Sudoku.
Yeah,
I mentioned that as a suspicious point. I didn't quite.
And I can't remember at all in the original story because I was laughing too much about how much I'd never heard. But I can't remember if it was Michael said anything about them phoning her, and if you phoned her, then you knew her number. So therefore, you're the killer. I don't know. I'm putting a lot of leaps together here. But I think Dot knew her phone number because of the Sudoku, and therefore
the dots together.
Yeah, interesting theory.
Yeah.
Right. And where do you think it became unsolvable?
Well, we lost Dot, so
okay. Right. Well, we've heard everyone here's theories. As I say, it's now over to you at home. Let us know who you think did it and how, and what was the clue that gave it away, and we will reveal it soon. Meanwhile, for our suspects, do you fancy doing it again?
Yes.
Oh God, yes, yes.
It's
Yeah.
so fun.
I want to come further down the line and try and regurgitate whatever
Yep.
I want to go higher.
idiocy comes my
Please
way.
don't put me first. Please don't put
Yeah,
me
I really don't want to be first.
Well,
I
I'm
want
going
to
to
write down the end so that it doesn't matter what I say because
Yeah, by the end of it,
it's already gone.
Here's 3 facts. Enjoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It worries
what I
me.
found, those first 30 seconds of details, the date, it's like those few things, they stayed in. By the time I'd reached halfway through, couldn't remember what the end was at all. I couldn't. Did I even say how she died?
No.
No, you didn't.
No,
Well,
yeah.
you said you'd got.
But we lost the paralysis.
You lost the paralysis.
Yeah,
thing.
paralysis. There we go.
Well, yeah, we'll do a new order. I will write a new little mini mystery. I might not make it quite so hard next time. Oh, then again, I might.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Then again,
that would
I
be-
might make it harder. I'm going to see how the lovelies at home do solving it. But thank you all, fellow suspects, and we will join
You're
again.
welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
you all did.
You're
You all did marvelously.
Thank
we're
you.
gonna-
Thank
we're
you
gonna
very
sign off.
much.
So we will see
See
you all next time for another game of the Unreliable Narrator. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.